Hey Al, this is Crowman. This is a project that I've been working on for a little bit. I'm actually working on a sling bow. I was doing some research on different kinds of bows and arrows and all that stuff online. And I started seeing these sling bows that some of these guys were been making and using. Some pretty powerful ones, enough to shoot bears and bows, and not really much of a hunter, but it'd be nice to have and play around with. Especially now, considering the cost of some archery equipment. It's pretty expensive for a really, really poor man. So what I done was, first I went out and I bought a nice little sling bow. This is buy this at Walmart for, I think it was like 20 bucks or something. And to hold the arrow, it would be, you need to go get yourself a little biscuit. That's what everyone seems to be doing, but since again there's actually no one in my area that sells them and I have to buy it online or ship it in from out of province, I just made one. I just took a wire brush and I just bent it all around and hooked it up with some wire. Actually, it's a little loose right now, but it holds pretty good. I'll fix it up a little later once I get more into it. Maybe one day I'll actually be able to find a sling bow and find a biscuit and mount it on there properly. And also as well too, this is just a stock rubber on here. I don't know how much of a pull I'll get onto it, but we'll see. Down the road, I think there's a couple different products I like to get, like maybe harpoon or just like a really, really thick gauge rubber. So this is what I'm going to use, actually using as for firing my projectiles. Now, as far as projectiles go, this is actually a nice little tube. This is where I'm carrying my arrows. I just went again to crappy tire. Canadian Tire. I just picked these up as like $3, a pack of 3 for 20 bucks or something like that. So I just bought a couple. I actually have a little piece of foam that I planted down in the bottom in there. I don't know how well you can see that. There's a piece of foam that's just so that I'm not ruining my little $5 tips. A pack of 12 for $5 from Crappy Tire. Canadian Tire. And this just fits on here very nicely. And I can take this when I go out. I'll probably end up using this for small game and fowls and things like that. So now that I have actually built this, and I know I could use it, the purpose mostly of this video is just I need a practice target. And as a lot of people know, practice targets are few and far to come by and pretty expensive for those pre-made animal ones. I'm actually working on a few projects that I have, but they're taking a while. Saw a video of a guy. He actually took some pieces of scrap rug that he had and he made this big huge target. I'm thinking, hey, that'll be a cool idea. And I actually got a couple pieces of carpet that came out of some a friend's place, and I cutted them up, actually 1.5 by 3 feet. And I'm like, as I'm cutting them, I'm stacking it. I went through like enough carpet to fill 2 bedrooms, and my stack is still only a few inches high. I have them outside covered, and I think that's gonna be a while till I get it to the height I want. Actually, I want to build to about 4 feet high, which 3 by 4 foot target should be pretty good. And it will stop arrows once it's done and built. If you're not sure what a carpet target looks like, YouTube it. There's a couple of videos guys have done it. Thumbs ups to them for giving me a good idea. But anyway, so what I'm going to just do today is I'm actually just going to try to make a target with some really good stuff. Some really great stuff. Again, I bought this at Crappy Tire for like $8, and it's the 568 gram can. It was like $8 or something like that. And the rest of it is just going to be cardboard. So these are it's pretty easy to come by cardboard. I picked up these little cube boxes a while ago from one of my great friends at Napa. And Napa, wink wink, I probably need new struts for my car, so if you want to contact me, go ahead, I won't stop you. What I did was I just assembled one of the box, and then I just took another box and I cut them out into pieces. Using one of my most favorite tools is just a little knife, because if you can't cut it with a knife, well, it's not edible. So I just cut up some little pieces. I filled them all in like that. This will just be my top piece. So all I'm going to do is spray foam everything in here. I'm actually doing it here in this particular room, which is my porch, close to the back door here, because that way, obviously, you need to have, amongst everything else, some good ventilation. So actually, no, I'm just going to open this up now. And I also have a fan. What I'm going to do is blow a lot of the fumes outside. Speaking of safety and ventilation and everything, now you could go ahead and you can use a respirator like this, but for this project I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to use a standard little filtered air mask. Of course, safety is really important, so I'll put my glasses on. We don't want any splashback in the eyes. And some disposable safety gloves. Because if you've ever worked with this great stuff, you know it's really difficult to get off the skin. I know I've done it many times. It's also really difficult to get out of clothing. So if you are going to work with this stuff, try to wear something that if you end up ruining them, like this is like an old shirt I painted with it and done everything else with it. So something you can throw away if it gets ruined and you're not going to cry about it. So there we go with the mask. And the idea is with all these little spaces in here is I'm going to fill everything up as best as I can, and then as it's doing that, I'm just going to put another layer on here. I'm going to tape it shut and let the foam expand by itself, and it should become pretty dense. So now we're just going to take this all apart. And just before I start spraying, I'm just going to move my fan over. Oh, I'm fogging up a little bit. Before I start spraying, I move my fan over, turn it on, so I can immediately start blowing fumes out. Just set that up really good. Put it on the low speed for now. Give that a shake. Give this a shake. Give that more of a shake. Goggles down. Alright, we'll start filling up all these spaces. So as I'm doing this, kind of didn't mention, but what I did was I lined the box, the big plastic bag first. So that way if it expands too much, the bag will contain it, and I won't have any of this spray foam all over the house. My only concern would be, at this point, is if I have enough foam for the whole box. Getting pretty low, and I think I'm only halfway done. And if that's the case, yep, seems that's the case. So what I'm going to have to do, after I'm done this, I'm going to pause it, take a boot out to my local hardware crappy tire store, pick up more. Yep, I would say by the size of this, probably going to need like 3 cans. That's no problem. Spew all that crap right out there. Yeah, it's going to take more cans. So I'll be right back.